you, Mr. Chair. I have a couple of concerns, one policy, one more on the legal side. In terms of policy, we had Jim Nobles here, obviously, earlier in the committee. Mr. Sparks was not here for that, but you were Representative Murray, and he's universally respected, and so is his office. And remember, he said that he was getting rid of, as a cost-saving measure, he was farming out basically to a private CPA firm the audit of the state fair. I then, later on in the hearing, asked him, well, why that and not others? What are the criteria by which you judge whether that's okay? And what he said was, when it comes to a straight-up financial audit, that's one thing. But he wouldn't do it when it came to control and compliance audits. And my understanding, and I think we'll hear this from Auditor Otto, is that it's that compliance piece, the compliance audit, that I think we need to be really, really careful about farming out to others, notwithstanding the fact that some others may have done it, especially when it's something that's in our state constitution. We wouldn't think, or maybe we would, I haven't seen the bill yet, maybe I should expect it, that we'd farm out the Attorney General's office functions and say that from now on, instead of a state agency being represented by the Attorney General's office, we should have Dorsey and Whitney do it, or Faegre and Benson, or some law firm. I just think we have to be really careful, and that leads me to the last point. There's a Supreme Court case from 1986. It's Mattson versus Kedrowski. And there, the legislature, and Representative Khan, I think, was around then, there the legislature decided to just take the state treasurer's function, or most of it, most of the core functions, and just transfer it over to the Department of Finance, over the obvious objection of the state treasurer. We don't have a state treasurer anymore, but we did then. And I've got the case in front of me, and the bottom line of the case, as I read it, is that we can't do that. And so they basically ordered the legislature to put it back. And they said you can't take core functions of an office listed in Article 5, or Section 1 of Article 5 of the state constitution, which this is, and you just can't do that. You can't take their core functions and put it somewhere else, because that's constitutionally prescribed. And so, as I read this case, I think the bill, despite your good intentions, would very likely be unconstitutional and overturned by the courts. We just can't be taking wholesale core functions of these state agencies. And remember, these are not just state agencies like the Department of Agriculture or the Historical Society. They're separate constitutional officers, just like the governor is, and take those functions and just kind of farm them out. So I'm concerned from a legal standpoint, just whatever the merits of the bill may be, that we're in big trouble because of that case, and that if this were to be in law, there's a good chance that that it would go the other way, that the Supreme Court would tell us we can't do this.